My name is Jack Gavigan. I'm part of the team behind ZCash, which is a cryptocurrency that has got strong privacy and confidentiality built into it. I worked for a long time in the traditional financial sector, near us here in the City of London, for companies like Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank. And I joined ZCash in 2016. So I've been working in this space now for coming up on 2 years. The goal of ZCash is to become internet money. And we believe that in order for that to happen, in order for people around the world to all use, the same currency, it needs to be private and it needs to be confidential. And ZCash uses a new technology, a new cryptographic technology called zero-knowledge proofs, which very few people understand fully. I think you need a PhD in mathematics to really truly understand it. But what it enables is the ability to send a transaction using ZCash without revealing anything about the transaction, the source, destination, or the amount that's being transferred. And that contrasts with currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, where all that information is published onto their blockchains. With ZCash, you have two types of transaction. You have the ability to send a transparent transaction, where the source address, i.e. your payment address, and the destination address, let's say I'm sending some ZCash to you, let's say I'm sending 5 ZCash to you. I can publish that as a transparent transaction. You can see my address, you can see your address. If they're obviously long, meaningless looking strings of characters, but if you can look them up, if you know in advance, or if you have paid you or me money in the past, then you know that that's my address or your address. And you can see how much is being transferred. You also have the option of sending a shielded transaction, where all that anybody else can tell is that there was a transaction. They don't know how much, they don't know from who or to whom. So it's completely private in the same way as when you use your credit card or your debit card, or when you make a bank transfer. The rest of the world can't see how much you're paying and to whom. It's private. Your bank can see because they're the ones who operate the system. With ZCash, the zero-knowledge proof cryptography protects it. You're not reliant on anybody to keep it private. You're not reliant on an Experian to keep themselves safe from hackers, not leak your information. It's just you who controls your own privacy, your own information. No. So in the same way that when you use a web browser to connect to your bank, it protects that connection using encryption. So if there's any hackers who control any of the internet infrastructure between you and your bank, they can't read your information. They can't see what's going on in your bank account. They can't see anything that you see. With ZCash, it's exactly the same. We originally raised money from a bunch of investors, both venture capital firms like Digital Currency Group and Fenbushi Capital, and also angels like Roger Ver. We've launched ZCash using those funds. And then since ZCash has been launched, we receive what we call a founder's reward, which is that a portion of newly mined coins accrue to the company. We then use those to pay salaries, rent, legal fees, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to say, because being fully private, we can't actually say. And that's one of the interesting things when you start getting into this space is, we can tell that a certain number of transactions are taking place, but we don't know if one person is doing all those transactions or if it's hundreds of thousands of people. I would say that, compared to networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're smaller, but we're growing. When you build something that has strong privacy and confidentiality, you implicitly have to accept that you're going to have that sort of a blind spot. What we do see growth in is we see more and more exchanges adding ZCash. We see payment processors adding ZCash. So, it's clear that there's a demand out there for it and that demand is growing. I think it's safe to say that a lot of trading right now is speculative. I think that's true of the entire cryptocurrency space. People are buying these currencies either for day trading purposes, to trade in and out, benefit from daily price movements, or they've decided that they believe in this technology and they're just going in, they're buying some ZCash or Bitcoin or whatever, and they're just holding on to it. And they're not worrying about the short-term ups and downs. They've got a long-term view that in 5 years or 10 years time, this is going to be a ubiquitous, global technology that everybody is going to have on their mobile phones. We have seen interest in use cases where privacy is important. So there's interest in countries like Venezuela, where there's a lack of confidence in local currencies and the local authorities. But at the same time, they don't necessarily want to just switch to cryptocurrencies that can be traced. So there's interest in the privacy and confidentiality aspect there. And some nonprofits, they want to allow donors the ability to remain anonymous, and for them, the ability to, or accepting ZCash is a way of allowing people to contribute, donate to them without necessarily revealing who they are. It's really easy. I think it's the 10th most liquid cryptocurrency currently. So you're talking about over $100 million transacted per day. It's relatively straightforward to exchange. Some of the biggest exchanges in the US, places like Poloniex, Gemini in New York, they all support ZCash. Coinbase have just announced they're considering adding ZCash alongside some other cryptocurrencies. So yeah, it's not that difficult to acquire or to sell. ZCash is built on a fundamental breakthrough in cryptography, based on zero knowledge proofs, with what I call a first generation blockchain technology like Bitcoin or Ethereum. To create a transaction and to have it accepted by the network, you have to prove certain things. You have to prove that you own the coins that you're sending. You have to prove that the number of coins you're putting into a transaction is the same as the number of coins that are coming out on the other side. And we call that, mass conservation. You put in the same amount as you get out. And in order to prove those things, you have to reveal certain pieces of information. You have to reveal the address that the coins are coming from, so you can prove that that address controls those coins. You have to reveal how many coins are being transferred. So all this information has to be written to the blockchain so people can check it and verify it. With a zero knowledge proof, you're proving something, you're proving a statement. Like, I control these coins, I'm not creating coins out of thin air. And you don't have to reveal any more information than that statement. And it's done cryptographically, it's done securely. It's a relatively new technology. So ZCash is the first widespread deployment of this technology. And the reason that we were able to do that is because a bunch of scientists, professors, PhDs at various academic institutions around the world collaborated to invent this technique and its application to cryptocurrency. And they then worked with Zuko, our CEO, to get the company up and running, and then they advise us on an ongoing basis. It'd be great to think that, in someday we'll be the preeminent, digital currency globally. So we've got our significant network upgrade coming later this year, where as I said, it's called the sapling upgrade. It's going to make transactions more efficient. It's going to make it quicker to generate transactions, and it's going to lay the groundwork for future improvements that will allow us to start building more features to enhance usability, make it easier to use ZCash on mobile phones and other similarly low-powered computing devices. And I think our approach really is to take it step by step. Once we've got that deployed, once it's activated, then we'll look at what the next step beyond that is. Some of the things that we're thinking about are enhancing the scalability, which I think is a problem that everybody faces in this space. The scalability of blockchain technology, is limited at the moment. So there's a lot of effort going into that. And we're also looking at how to make ZCash, programmable, smarter in some way. I think Ethereum really pioneered the idea of programmable money. And it's worked out very well for them. A lot of people have built applications on top of the Ethereum platform. So one of the things that we're looking at is how do you make money programmable whilst maintaining privacy. So with Ethereum, you write a smart contract and you publish it on the Ethereum network, and everybody gets to see A, the business logic in that smart contract, and B, what's actually going on. Now, is there a way to do something similar, to add programmability or smartness to money without revealing the business logic and every single transaction that takes place? We think there is, but it's very much at the research phase at the moment. So right now, and it's true for Bitcoin, Ethereum, ZCash, all of these cryptocurrencies, none of these cryptocurrencies could match, say, Visa or MasterCard in terms of transaction volume. The technology is just not there yet. I believe that it's only a matter of time before solutions emerge, but then they're not there yet. So 25 years ago, to access the internet, you used the dial-up modem, which made noises and beeped at you. And now I can access the internet from my watch and my phone. Technology advances. So I think we're going to see solutions emerge, and some of them may be based on technology that's related to zero-knowledge proofs. Certainly, cryptographic-based systems. And we're going to see scaling solutions emerge that will allow blockchain technology to scale to millions of concurrent users.